sketch or something.
Probably not.
She talks about how her drawing wasn't very good. You know, when I was a kid, I don't think I could have drawn that good. I mean, the little shadow men are heads are in perfect circles.
Not perfect. First imperfect thing.
Wait, I think I know what it is. This witness statement is clearly faulty, Your Honor!
No, it's not, Phoenix.
Yes, it is.
I wish they would take away your defense attorney license.
But it broke off inside its body, so it shouldn't have been blunt yet. It should be sharp.
Could that be explaining why her not being a very good artist?
Just... Oregon.
Oh?
I should have been Oregon with the crap.
Stab in the back. I guess. No, but yeah. I guess that would be it.
The way Emily's holding him at could hit him in the head, probably kill him.
I don't know how you can object to anything in this, but show you what the game would want. Music stopped.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news. This picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction.
What? But I still remember it, just like it was yesterday.
But you're a horse.
You're always so slow with the S when you say horse.
Mr. Wright. We will not tolerate that kind of language in this courtroom.
But you're a horse.
Why are you so bad?
But you're a horse.
There. It's not that hard to say horse.
Horse. Horse. Horse. Horse.
Mr. Wright, do I need to excuse you from the courtroom?
How do you say it?
Horse.
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 That's fine. Just don't laugh in the middle of it to where it's like a whole huge delay to say yes.
Just doesn't make sound even meaner to
Yeah,
Emma.
it makes it sound worse. Perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out the contradiction for us rather than insulting her. Wait, what do they want?
Maybe it's the hand. Oh no.
I think it's this part here.
Meant the other hand.
I don't see what's so strange about that. Edgeworth, you look. You see anything strange?
It's because the drawing stinks.
And Mr. Wright, stop insulting her.
She's a bad artist. I could draw better than that.
Mr. Wright, you disappointed me. Mr. Wright, you could you?
The act of making an innocent girl cry should warrant the death penalty.
I guess it means I shouldn't shift the blame to others.
Yes. So long as the defense has learned his lesson, or I'll teach him later.
I'd better take another look at the autopsy report and this picture.
Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. Wait, what?
You can proceed to check.
Oh. That hand, maybe?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Kind of told it was a hand. So the contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a look at the knife the man is holding. If you look closely, you can see its tip is broken.
See, you had already figured out the problem, but you presented the wrong evidence.
I see.
Well, why would you have to present the autopsy in order to get that?
I guess because the autopsy has the detail that the tip of the knife was found in his back.
Yes.
Yeah, but the knife also says that in the description of the knife.
Even I don't have to look closely to see that, Mr. Wright. Oh, Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon, that tip is broken too. If I recall, the tip was found broken off in the victim's body. It was a conclusive piece of evidence that proved Jude Derrick was the murderer.
I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma.
And where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem?
It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. Not just the single part. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not have yet be broken.
Ah! What's the meaning of this?
Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand.
Why does the judge scream at that?
Sorry, but I'm afraid that's impossible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there.
That's right. But what does this mean?
The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is that the witness's memory is mistaken.
That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at that time. But she was so sure she remembered correctly.
But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency.
Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already? About a little something called falsified evidence?
You are treading on thin ice, Wright.
All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might have been the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny that possibility.
No. Ah!
Order! 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 Are you saying the investigation was really corrupted?
Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place the day of the murder.
Which one?
The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Awards at the ceremony, Neil Marshall, so it's this murder, that was really long, 2 years ago, questioned Joe Dart along with Damon Gant. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. It is my belief that somewhere in the story there is a lie.
I'm not lying. The man was holding up the broken knife.
If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife.
What are the chances of 2 broken knives existing?
Another broken knife besides Joe Dart's. Could there have been another one? If the witness is this adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, it can't just be explained away by a simple observational error.
Mr. Wright.
In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife.
I assume, then, that you have some information about this other broken knife. If so, please feel free to enlighten us.
The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this. Here's the real murder weapon.
Trophy.
Wait,
Wait, check the trophy. Not that one. It does look broken. But what would you present?
just the picture. The answer lies in the past. 2 years in the past. Right here, inside this picture.
This is the picture of the awards ceremony.
What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? Is there a spider?
It's the broken murder weapon.
Notice the award Prosecutor Marshall is holding.
I just wanted to do a Seth yell.
It's a broken knife.
As we earlier concluded, the knife in that drawing was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was in all likelihood from this award.
Order! Order! Order!
Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. As an award, he was given this broken shield and knife. After being chased, when he
Compose yourself, Mr. Wright.
When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. After being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife is the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation.
It was only after we became a prosecutor.
But that can't be.
She started carrying pistols.
Once you become a prosecutor, you're not allowed to carry pistols anymore.
Well, he was a cowboy, so he probably did have a pistol before.
He's a wannabe cowboy.
Oh? And why not, Mr. Edgeworth?
Because if the King of Prosecutors' award knife was the murder weapon, then the murderer and the victim would be reversed.
What do you mean?
I mean, this man raising a knife would have to have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall.
Oh. Ah!
But the prosecutor was the one who actually died.
That's true. What's going on here?
It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions.
Wait, I remember now. I remember everything. Witness. Mr. Edgeworth.
He ran up with the broken pipe. Just start stabbing Neil Marshall for no reason.
What is it?
Could you show me your evidence list again, please? His list. The one with the picture scribbled on the back. I knew it. This picture. I'm the one who drew it.
What?
You drew that?
It's right. The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture. All this time I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have looked this part away deep inside me. Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness's testimony. Would you please tell us what you recalled, Miss SKYE? She was doing that before you interrupted her. Yes, Your Honor.
First the knife mitts up and now the blue badger. This should be interesting.
When I saw that the man raised his knife, I panicked and I rushed below them toward them. And I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then there was another flash of lightning, and this when I saw the blue badger. He wasn't in the room, but I know I saw his shadow. This is certainly most unusual.
Try impossible. The chief of detectives hadn't even designed him yet. Until this year.
That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago.
Yes, well...
Stop, please. Don't pursue this any further.
Lana!
Lana! It's like a rock song. What is the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair.
But you can't do this. I've already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it at that? Chief Prosecutor SKYE. We've already come this far. It's too late to turn back.
Silence! The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant.
It seems we're finally getting to the core of this matter.
The most terrifying truth of all, the blue badger.
When you say that man, I assume you refer to Joe Dark.
Yes, at least I think it was him.
You think?
All I could really see were shadows.
The power outage that immediately preceded the incident is also documented in the prosecutor's office reports.
Edgeworth, why were you in the other room?
I had to pee, Your Honor.
Well, so then you...
Why would you do something so dangerous?
What else could I have done, Mr. Wright? He was about to stab Miss Marshall.
Miss Marshall?
She seemed convinced that Dark was the one holding the knife.
But as we've just theorized, Mr. Marshall was the one holding the knife.
Well, I didn't know that at the time. When the dark guy knocked me down, all I could think was I could help the other person.
What do you mean, you think?
It was face that was in shock. Do you remember the guy? Your idea was kind of a blur.
Miss Skye was almost killed before she was witness to a murder about to take place. With so much happening in a matter of seconds, a little disorientation is only natural.
I saw the man about to stab the other person, who I thought was Mr. Marshall. I knew how to stab me with a knife.
What you did was very brave, young girl. So what happened next?
Are you sure about this?
Of course, see? I even drew a picture of him here.
But it was the chief of detectives who thought up this hideous beast. And that was just this year. The Blue Badger didn't exist 2 years ago. This is all quite verifiable.
I know it sounds strange. I was surprised when I saw him at the police department. I had this nagging feeling of I've seen him before somewhere.
Your voice reminds me of something. I'll tell you later.
Now I finally remember.
I always wished we could eat a chocolate parfait together.
I don't know what that is. Oh, brother! Just when you thought you had caused enough commotion.
Tell us, where in the room did you see him dancing?
His shadow? So you mean you didn't actually see his face with his winning smile and all?
That's right, but I still remember it. He had the creepy horns.
This is pointless. That thing couldn't have possibly existed 2 years ago. The witness must be mistaken.
Well, that may well be. But what's important is what caused her to think she saw what she did.
Oh, and I suppose you all have an explanation? If so, then by all means, please tell us what this shadow really was. You guys kept calling Blue Badger Sonics, now it's Shadow.
What was it Emma saw when that lightning flashed? Who is this Blue Badger really?
You're looking at the record first. What's in the picture? I meant the other picture, but if there's anything there, that would give it away. No, I don't know.
Blue Badger hadn't even been dreamt up when Emma drew this picture. She's certain she saw its shadow. Ladies and gentlemen, It is the defense's belief that on the fatal day 2 years ago, there indeed was something that looked similar to the blue badger. Something that is now sitting in this very room.
Edgeworth? Mr. Wright!
Edgeworth had a really weird hairstyle back then.
In this room. Very well, Mr. Wright. What is it that the witness saw in that instance? Please show us the mysterious blue badger look-alike. That's not even in the room, is it?
The mysterious blue badger was in fact this!
You're supposed to assume all the evidence is on Phoenix's desk
Oh.
the entire time.
But that's... What is that?
I believe it's some sort of jar.
But Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the blue badger.
Indeed it doesn't, as it stands now. It's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint?
Our viewpoint?
I've got to show them the correct angle.
This is the worst part. I hate this part of the game every single time I play.
Why?
Because I can never figure out what angle it wants me to position this stupid jar.
That isn't... Oh, I thought for sure that was right.
Allow me to remind the defense its case hinges on the witness's jaw drawing.
That looked just like the blue badger.
I'm sorry, I'm a bit drunk this morning. If Mr. Wright can't match the shape the witness drew, we cannot accept his claim.
The drawing is sideways. Come on, Mr. Wright, you can do it.
Phoenix isn't saying anything, he's just depressed.
I'm for sure that's right.
The drawing is sideways now.
What do you mean?
Remember the drawing? It's sideways.
Am I supposed to put it sideways to match the drawing, or
Well,
I
he
thought it
wants-
was to match the picture?
But he tells you to match the drawing.
Next picture is what you're looking for.
Oh.
Oh.
That being said, I can't help you with this at all. Not because of spoilers, but because I have no idea how to do it.
Straighten it out. Straighten it out a little bit. Okay, now present that.
Well, is this a miracle or what?
It's a miracle we finally got it. You're cheating.
No one can possibly deny this. This jar's resemblance to the blue badger.
You still sound scared to say the blue badger.
No, it can't be!
Order! Order! I don't think anyone was really freaking out that much, but the defense has proven its claim. Mysterious blue badger, witnessed on the day of the crime, was actually this.
Although we all enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains.
10 minutes of him just staring at a jar.
It was also a lengthy performance. What's your point?
What do you mean?
So that badger thing was actually just a jar. That doesn't change anything.
I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, this changes everything!
Indeed. Very well then. Please tell us, what different now that we know the witness saw this jar?
Allow me to take these in turn. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar.
At a very specific angle, I might add, Mr. Wright.
Yes, well, knowing this, where could this jar have been seen?
Where? What?
The location of the jar is shown in a picture taken on the crime of the day.
You mean the day of the crime?
The crime of the day.
The crime of the day.
It's on a shelf in the office of Damon Gant.
But the body was found lying near Lana SKYE's desk. The witness testified so herself.
Yes, and and it's these two facts that reveal what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana SKYE's office. It happened on the other side of the room in Chief Gant's office.
Are you implying the murderer moved the victim's body from Damon Gant's office to Lana SKYE's office?
Same room. It's like what? He could have just, when they fell, they could have just stumbled over to that side. Who knows?
It's supposed to be a lengthy walk.
Doesn't look like no lengthy walk.
No, it's like, think about our house, right? Which the viewers at home know nothing about. But imagine if a body fell in the kitchen, or if there was a murderer in the kitchen, and then you found the body in the living room. It's still kind of weird.
You could, like, stumble all the way to the living room and fall down.
It didn't look like that lengthy, too. It looked more like if somebody was on one side of the living room and fell on the other.
No, it was a little bigger than that.
Maybe.
It's not that big.
Why would he do that? There's no reason.
Exactly. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason.
You know what that reason was, Mr. Wright?
I finally figured it out. So this is why Lana tried to stop the trial. It's too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness's testimony. She said she was knocked away. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, what could have sent a jar flying?
That wouldn't have been the impacts the man made when he was knocked into the wall.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more. If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what would have he hit?
The suit of armor, holding a very sharp and dangerous looking sword.
Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would have been Neil Marshall wielding the the King of Prosecutors award.
No, Mr. Wright. You can't be thinking...
Yes! There's another possibility of what actually transpired in that room.
Another possibility?
Of course, the perpetrator would have had no idea, but nevertheless... I don't know if I can go through with this.
Mr. Wright, what is the matter?
If events took place as the defense theorizes, then the outcome is obvious. And that moment, assuming the man Emma SKYE knocked away was actually Prosecutor Neil Marshall.
You mean Mr. Marshall did because of me? No!
I never imagined her testimony would lead to this.
Does she go to prison now?
I hope so.
So, it was the witness who murdered the victim, and then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented.
What are you saying?
I'm sorry, Miss SKYE, but given the circumstances,
Joe Dark murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How can you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin the crime on her? Imagine that coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body. It was to keep anyone else from finding out about Emma, wasn't it? I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have proof. Tell me. Do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall?
evidence?
I'm willing to bet you don't.
Yes, it certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence.
If we don't have evidence, then we'll have to rely on testimony. I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead.
You certainly can't get dead people to testify. This has all been a wild goose chase from the beginning.
You have the piece of leather with her fingerprints.
Touché, Miss SKYE. Of course, that only leaves us with one possibility.
You mean there's still another possibility?
What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
I mean the possibility that the victim has left us a message. For better or for worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life, in one manner or another. That's impossible.
Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left to you. A message from the deceased. Does a message exist?
I've got to think back to the court record. The real murderer's name that the victim may have left behind. This message from the deceased is already in our possession.
Mr. Wright, will you stop at nothing to prove my sister a murderer? Do not be mistaken, Miss SKYE. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There is only one thing we seek: the truth. No matter how painful it may be.
Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us this piece of evidence that conveys a message from the deceased.
This is the message from the deceased!
Right. Now then, this is the message from the judge. I will kill you.
I guess that wasn't right.
I forget.
I thought that wasn't. I just am supposed to wait.
You'd better be careful. You might wind up deceased yourself, Mr. Wright. I heard what the judge said.
I will kill you. Show us the message from the deceased.
Just slow down. Clear handprint can be seen on the leather claw. The print belongs to EMA. I think I'll keep this information to myself.
What about what? Does the jar say words, or is it just?
Sure. This is the message left by the deceased.
This is that blue badger from before, right?
Oh, is he going to speak the killer's name, eh? If that thing could, I'm sure it would.
Looks like everyone's forgotten about this is just a jar. The message was left here, on the surface of the jar.
What do you mean?
If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood from this jar.
Looks like someone wiped the blood away.
Yes, but notice, for some reason, the blood on the on some of the fragments of the jar was not wiped away.
Yes, there is a line drawn here in blood.
So what you're saying is these dots were once lines.
Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used a few precious moments left to him to leave behind a message.
One that someone apparently wiped away. But blood must have seeped into the jar where the lines changed directions.
Precisely so. All we need to do is connect these points, and the victim's message will become apparent.
No.
Mr. Wright, what kind of message did the victim leave for us?
Your Honor, I believe the bloodstains will reveal the answer.
Can't he just spray it with this fluid?
There's only one thing that... What? I just maybe it works. His murderer's name.
It's an E.
Yeah, but I don't know how to draw the E.
I will start at the top. Connect it to that. Stop it. Don't do that. Don't stop it. Stop. That's an M. Stop, please.
It's hit me.
Start from the back. Go all the way down. kind of jumping to conclusions with the last one, the A. You had to, like, draw the entire thing.
It's a defense attorney's duty to prove their client's innocence. That's why all I've been thinking about is saving Lana. After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this! Emma!
So, this is the final message left by Prosecutor Marshall.
Of all people, she may have not meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life.
Why would Neil even write out the thing?
Maybe he thought Maya did it on, or not Maya, Emma did it on purpose.
Why would he think Emma did it on purpose?
He didn't like Maya, Emma. I think it's Maya.
I don't understand.
Why indeed?
Was Emma SKYE?
Seaworthy. Can't say I didn't warn ya.
Chief Gant.
Do you understand the implications of what you've done?
What? What are you talking about?
2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in that case, weren't you? Yeah, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction.
But Joe Dark was really a serial killer. That's undeniable.
I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know? We aren't defenders of justice.
What?
We're merely keepers of the law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter. Even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery. Ultimately, the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied.
What's going on with the prosecutor's office?
I said an innocent man was death!
Or can he just stand there like what at fault?
Order! 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 Order!
The gavel's pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where this trial is headed, no one knows.
To be continued.
Are we continuing?
Yeah.
Are continuing next time.